Imagine waking up one morning, stepping outside and realizing something's seriously off. The sun, that big fiery ball you've taken for granted since forever, has vanished behind a thick, eerie gloom. The skies are dull grey, like someone left the world stuck on a bad Instagram filter. No warmth, no brightness, just cold and shadows everywhere. Welcome to the year 536 AD, when the sun literally decided to take an extended coffee break. People back then didn't have weather apps or fancy satellites. They had no clue why crops were failing or why winters felt like an eternal ice age. Historical records from all over the globe paint a chilling picture: harvest darkness during the days destroyed, and widespread panic. It was so bad, some historians call it the worst year to be alive. But what really happened? Let's dive in. To truly grasp how devastating 536 AD was, we need to zoom out a bit and look at the world before the darkness settled in. The Roman Empire, although past its peak, still influenced much of Europe, the Mediterranean and beyond. Agriculture was the backbone of life. No modern farming tech, just hard-working farmers praying to the skies for sun and rain. Any disruption in weather could mean disaster, and disaster is exactly what came. Around 536 AD, chroniclers from vastly different corners of the world started writing about a mysterious darkening of the sun. The Byzantine historian Procopius described a sun like the moon without brightness. Irish monks noted gloomy days and bitter cold that destroyed crops. Chinese records from the same era talked about dust-filled skies and unusual weather patterns. What's striking is the global scale. This wasn't a localized event. From Europe to Asia, the atmosphere was thick with a strange haze that dimmed sunlight for over a year. People had no idea what was causing it, but they sure felt its impact. Crops withered, winters grew harsher, and food shortages began mounting. This wasn't just bad luck. It was a catastrophe on a scale that shook civilizations. It's no exaggeration to say 536 AD was a tipping point, a year that historians now see as the starting block for a cascade of crises across continents. So, what exactly caused the sun to pull this disappearing act? Science has given us some fascinating answers. The leading theory points to massive volcanic eruptions. Think of them as Earth's ultimate party poopers that blasted enormous amounts of ash and sulfur dioxide high into the atmosphere. This volcanic smokescreen spread worldwide, blocking sunlight and triggering what's called a volcanic winter. Without enough sunlight reaching the ground, temperatures plunged. Imagine the whole planet suddenly getting the worst case of seasonal affective disorder: cold, dark, and miserable. Scientists confirm this through ice core samples pulled from Greenland and Antarctica. These frozen time capsules reveal layers of volcanic ash dated precisely to the mid-6th century, matching the timing of this global dimming event. There's some debate about which volcano, or volcanoes, caused this. Some suggest Iceland's infamous eruption, while others look toward volcanoes in North America or Asia. Some evidence even hints at multiple eruptions stacked closely together, amplifying the effect. The volcanic winter wasn't just a passing cloud of gloom, it lasted for several years. For about 18 months, the sun's brightness was reduced by as much as 70%, leaving the world trapped in a chilling haze. Global temperatures dropped by as much as 2–3 degrees Celsius, a huge deal when you depend on the sun to grow your food. This prolonged climate upheaval wreaked havoc on agriculture, ecosystems, and human societies alike. But volcanic activity wasn't the only player. Some researchers explore whether meteor impacts contributed, but volcanic eruptions remain the strongest and most widely accepted culprit. In short, the sun didn't disappear, it was smothered by volcanic ash, turning the sky into a giant smokescreen that transformed the world's climate and history forever. Now, imagine living through those years of gloom and cold with no safety net, no government aid, and certainly no Netflix to distract you. The sudden drop in sunlight meant crops failed across vast regions, from Europe to Asia. Food shortages became widespread, sparking famine and hunger on an epic scale. When your daily bread disappears, society starts to unravel. Historians believe this devastating period accelerated what some call the Late Antiquity crisis, a time of profound political instability, economic collapse, and widespread social unrest. The mighty Roman Empire, already struggling, faced rebellions and invasions, partly fueled by the desperate conditions caused by the harsh climate. But it wasn't just political chaos. The environmental stress weakened communities, making them vulnerable to disease. The experts link the aftermath of the 536 event to the outbreak of the Justinian plague in 541 AD, a pandemic that wiped out millions and further destabilized the world. Primary sources from the time offer heartbreaking glimpses. People describe days without clear sunlight, bitter winters that destroyed their crops, and desperation so thick it seemed to choke every corner of society. In some places, entire villages disappeared. In others, people migrated en masse searching for better lands. Economies based on agriculture and trade suffered immensely. Without surplus food, trade slowed, currencies devalued, and famine-related death tolls soared. The dark skies and cold winters weren't just natural phenomena, they were catalysts for massive societal change, reshaping the course of history. In essence, 536 AD was a perfect storm of environmental catastrophe and human suffering, a reminder of how tightly our civilizations depend on the delicate balance of nature. The shadow of 536 AD still lingers today, not as a distant, forgotten footnote, but as a powerful lesson on how nature can upend even the mightiest civilizations. Scientists and historians now recognize this event as a stark reminder that our planet's climate is fragile, and massive volcanic eruptions can trigger global consequences. Understanding 536 AD helps us grasp the delicate connection between climate and society. It teaches us that disruptions to sunlight and temperature don't just affect the weather, they ripple through economies, food security, and political stability. In a world facing increasing climate uncertainties and volcanic risks, these lessons are more relevant than ever. Some scholars even call 536 AD the worst year to be alive in recorded history, a testament to the scale of human suffering and upheaval caused by natural disaster. But amid the darkness, humanity endured and adapted, demonstrating resilience that still inspires us today. Looking forward, scientists monitor volcanic activity closely, and climate models incorporate lessons from past volcanic winters to predict and prepare for future disruptions. The story of 536 AD is a vivid reminder. No matter how advanced we become, we remain deeply connected and vulnerable to the forces of nature. So there you have it, 536 AD, the year the sun disappeared and the world was plunged into darkness and despair. A volcanic winter that reshaped history, reminding us just how fragile life on Earth can be when nature flexes its muscles. It's humbling to think about how people survived without modern science or technology, relying on sheer resilience. Now, here's a question for you. What if something like this happened today? Are we really prepared for a sudden, prolonged climate catastrophe? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's get the conversation going. If you found this deep dive into history fascinating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We've got more stories that reveal the hidden forces shaping our world, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. Thanks for watching, and remember, history isn't just about the past, it's a guide to our future.